Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we need to have a little bit of a discussion here surrounding some new and recent events for Ninjago Dragons Rising, and all things considered, a Ninjago fan conspiracy theory that LEGO as a company is actively trying to rush Ninjago Dragons Rising and end it earlier than expected for some unknown reason. Well, I mean, people have been theorizing reasons, and we will definitely talk about that. But with that in mind, let me just say this is not a confirmation of anything. This, again, is a conspiracy theory that in a way I could totally see, again, just given some recent circumstances and some recent information that Ninjago fans haven't been very happy about. Long story short, it very much seems like LEGO is trying to speedrun the end of Ninjago Dragons Rising. I think the biggest piece of evidence is the fact that several concepts that were introduced in Ninjago Dragons Rising, especially in the earlier seasons, will not be addressed in Dragons Rising at all before it ends. Obviously, we've talked about this recently a lot, but things like Wildfire's origin story will not be addressed in Dragons Rising, despite Dragons Rising Season 1 going out of their way to make it a big mystery. Where exactly did Wildfire come from? Who were her parents? Why did she get sent to the wildness in this pod? It's hard to say. The other mystery is, of course, the Administrator, which was also set up in the first Dragons Rising season. Ultimately, that mystery will also not be paid off, at least not in Dragons Rising. There's been rumors that maybe it could appear in some type of upcoming book or outside media that isn't the actual Dragons Rising show, but again, this is a mystery that was set up in Dragons Rising, yet it's not being paid off in Dragons Rising. And we also have the recent confirmation that the Oni and Dragon War, how it started, that will not be addressed in Dragons Rising either, despite Dragons Rising talking about it in Season 3. That mystery, though, again, like I've said in a previous video, is not the biggest deal to me personally, just because that wasn't something that Dragons Rising Season 1 set up, nor did Dragons Rising just in general set that up. That's more so the fault of the original Ninjago series. But still, this information has obviously not made Ninjago fans very happy, and I find a lot of people blaming the writers of the show for this. However, I very much disagree, as it seems like the writers were very interested in answering these mysteries as they went out of their way to again set them up in early Dragons Rising, yet they're not being paid off in later Dragons Rising. Why exactly? Well, I personally think it has something to do with the higher-ups at LEGO, and again, even though this is just kind of like a conspiracy theory, I've talked about this previously, how it very much seems like LEGO is kind of breathing down the writers' necks, making them change things, making them cancel plans for Dragons Rising last minute in favor of, again, just not answering various mysteries. I've seen some Ninjago fans say that if the rumors about Dragons Rising ending at Season 5 are true, they would believe it, considering that Dragons Rising, all things considered, is skipping over a lot of previously set up storyline for the sake of, again, just getting to the end. I totally agree that these mysteries are not being answered because of corporate meddling, obviously. I think that's very apparent. Also, given the fact that we know that Dragons Rising sets pretty much take priority here, and unlike previous Ninjago seasons, the Dragons Rising sets, all things considered, kind of dictate what the storyline will be. Like, LEGO wants certain sets to appear in the storyline, so the writers need to shoehorn them in somehow. It's not as collaborative as an effort as it might have been way back in the day for Ninjago, and it definitely seems on the outside a lot more messy and a lot more like LEGO is kind of dictating the storyline behind the scenes, leading the writers down a path away from what they initially planned. Remember, Dragons Rising has always been advertised as this big thing that's been planned years in advance. Every season has been planned out years in advance, and we know that the ending was planned out since the beginning of Dragons Rising as well. But LEGO, like a lot of people have been saying, is supposedly speedrunning Dragons Rising to its end, and I could totally believe it, given everything that we've heard from the behind-the-scenes process of Dragons Rising. But why would LEGO be wanting to end Dragons Rising early? If all of this is true, and if LEGO truly is trying to end Dragons Rising prematurely, why? Well, I don't think it has anything to do with the success of Dragons Rising. For example, the show seems to be doing well, all things considered, despite the number of really high-profile leaks that we've been receiving for Dragons Rising ever since Season 2 from last year. It seems like despite all of the leaks, the series is still doing doing rather well. According to the writers, every single season is picking up new viewers on official streaming platforms. Obviously, Dragons Rising is doing numbers for the LEGO YouTube channel, so ultimately, it's not a matter of success. Rather, instead, I feel like LEGO might be trying to end Dragons Rising early to get to the next thing after Dragons Rising. We know that Dragons Rising will not be the end of the Ninjago franchise. Whenever Dragons Rising ends, there will be more Ninjago after that. But what exactly is LEGO rushing towards? Well, in my opinion, the upcoming live-action Ninjago movie, which I've theorized could very well be a retelling of Ninjago's pilot episodes. And as of right now, there's a rumor that the live-action Ninjago movie will see a release in 2027, which, what do you know, following the patterns that Dragons Rising has had, that year could also see the release of Dragons Rising Season 5, which is also rumored, again, to be the final season of Dragons Rising. So what I think is going on is if LEGO is truly rushing Dragons Rising towards its end, maybe Dragons Rising Season 5 will be the final season of the show, because after Season 5 wraps up, LEGO could go into this Ninjago movie thing, and from there, maybe introduce a potential Ninjago reboot for the year after for 2028, or maybe something that follows along with the Ninjago movie. It is worth mentioning as well that last time we had a Ninjago movie come out, it was very much dictating the show that was released alongside of it. I mean, the whole point as to why the ninja designs changed was so that the ninja could look more like how they did in the Ninjago movie back in 2017. And Sons of Garmadon, all things considered, felt like a soft reboot of the Ninjago series following Season 7 Hands of Time. It wasn't a hard reboot in the sense that the continuity was still there, but still, there was a big change done to the show. What if Ninjago and Dragons Rising are being rushed by LEGO to end the current storyline in order to make room for the movie? Maybe LEGO is concerned about having two Ninjago continuities existing at one given time. Maybe they wish to end the current continuity before they release a new continuity, possibly with the Ninjago movie. Now, obviously, I would not want Ninjago to hard reboot following the movie. I think the movie could totally be a different continuity and still have, again, the continuity from the TV show stay intact, since again, that happened with the original Ninjago movie. They did not hard reboot after that movie came out, but I feel like LEGO is expecting this upcoming live-action Ninjago movie to be a lot bigger than the previous one. Maybe it'll draw more of a mass appeal to the Ninjago brand once again, and if they're trying to bring in new people, well, having them enter into Dragons Rising, the middle of a multi-season long arc for Ninjago, might be a little bit confusing for the general audience. However, if Dragons Rising is done by the time the movie comes out, well, then that would be a nice segue for people coming off of the movie. Like I said, that's like the only reason why I could see LEGO ultimately rushing the end of Dragons Rising, to make room for this movie. Like I said though, multiple times throughout this video, this is not a confirmed fact. It's not confirmed that LEGO is rushing the end of Dragons Rising. A lot of Ninjago fans though, myself included, could totally see that being the case, just given what we've heard behind the scenes and how messy the Dragons Rising production ultimately seems. But with that being said, everyone, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here. Definitely kind of a rambly video on my end, so I apologize for that. I just have a lot to say surrounding this discussion, and I think there is right now just a lot of theorizing going on surrounding how Dragons Rising might be in danger, so feel free to leave all of your thoughts down below in the comments. I shared quite a few of mine in today's video. Make your thoughts known in the comments, and thank you so much for tuning in. That'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here. If you guys enjoyed this one, feel free to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Peace.